Hey everyone, I'm back with another video on Unit 2 Kinematics Motion in a Plane. What we have done previously: motion in a plane, vector addition, projectile motion. If you want to learn all this, do watch the other videos which we have done previously. By the way, what are we doing in this video? We will study about uniform circular motion, angular displacement, angular velocity and angular acceleration, centripetal acceleration and centripetal force. Now, what you should be knowing: what is velocity? V equal to dx by dt. What is acceleration? A equal to dv by dt. Then angle, which is equal to arc by radius. Triangle of vector addition, in which the magnitude is given by r is equals to under root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, and the direction is tan beta is equals to b sin theta upon a plus b cos theta. What is force? F equal to ma. Now, uniform circular motion. So when an object or when a point object is moving on a circular path with a constant speed, as you can see here, then the motion of the object is said to be uniform circular motion. Now, in uniform circular motion, the velocity of the object is changing its direction continuously. Okay, remember the magnitude remains the same, but the direction is changing. That means the velocity is changing. That's why this motion is called as uniformly accelerated motion, because acceleration is there in this motion because of the change in direction. Now, what are the terms associated with uniform circular motion? The first one is called as angular displacement, represented by delta theta. Let us consider an object moving along a circular path of radius r in anti-clockwise direction. Now OP is radius r. Okay, let the position of the object changes from P to Q in time t such that angle POQ is equals to delta theta. Okay, here it has covered this distance delta L. Okay, the radius vector traces out an angle delta theta at the axis of the circular path. As we said, it is moving in anti-clockwise direction. Now, the angular displacement of the object moving along or around a circular path is defined as the angle traced out by the radius vector at the center of the circular path in a given time. That is, delta theta is equal to delta L by R. In simple terms, angle is equal to arc by radius. The unit is radian, because it is an angle. More terms: angular velocity, it is the time rate of change of angular displacement of the particle. Omega is equal to d theta by dt. Unit is radian per second. Angular acceleration, it is the time rate of change of angular velocity of the particle. Alpha is equal to d omega by dt. Here in angular velocity and angular acceleration, we have taken this limit delta t tends to 0 delta theta by delta t, and here limit delta t tends to 0 delta omega by delta t. I hope you remember when we did motion in a plane, we have explained this part. Although we use this one, omega is equal to d theta by dt and alpha equal to d omega by dt. The unit of angular acceleration is radian per second square. Time period, it is the time taken by the object to complete one revolution on its circular path. Frequency, it is the number of revolutions completed by an object on its circular path in a unit time. Now the formula for frequency is number of revolutions upon time taken. Now number is n, or if it is 1 revolution, that's 1 by t. Unit is hertz or per second for frequency. The relation between linear and angular velocity. So we have considered an object moving along a circular path of radius r in anti-clockwise direction from P to Q. The angle is delta theta. It is moving with a linear velocity v which changes direction at every point, that is it is tangential. Okay, now angle is equal to arc by radius, so delta theta is equal to delta L by r. Now delta theta can be written as omega delta t because omega is equal to delta theta by delta t. Now another thing, delta L is written as v delta t because velocity is equal to delta L by delta t. That's a straight line motion or linear motion part. Now delta d cancels out, so we get v is equals to omega r. Important relation. Relation between linear and angular acceleration, we know v equal to omega r. Okay, differentiating both sides, d by dt of v is equal to d by dt of omega r. dv by dt is a. Now here omega comes out, dr by dt plus r comes out, d omega by dt. Now radius is constant and the differentiation of a constant is 0. That's why this term becomes 0. R d omega by dt is alpha. So what we got? A is equals to R alpha. Centripetal acceleration. It is the acceleration acting on an object undergoing uniform circular motion. It always acts on the object along the radius towards the center of the circular path. Now we will derive an expression for centripetal acceleration. Let r and r dash be the position vectors at points P and Q. So the displacement vector is delta r. V and V dash are the velocity vectors at P and Q. As the path is circular, V is perpendicular to R, V dash is perpendicular to R dash, as it is clear. Now this is V, this is V dash, so this will be delta V. Now how I got this? Now if I say V plus delta V will be equal to V dash, that is according to the triangle law, or can I say delta V is equal to V dash minus V? That way I got this as delta V. Now as V was perpendicular to R, V dash was perpendicular to R dash, that means delta V is perpendicular to delta R. Pretty obvious from the figure itself. Let delta theta is the angle between R and R dash. As V is perpendicular to R, V dash is perpendicular to R dash. That means the angle between V and V dash is also delta theta. So the triangles POQ, that is this triangle, and triangle BAC are similar. That means PQ by PO is equal to BC by BA. We put the values, and from this what we get? We get delta V is equal to V delta R upon R. Now delta V by delta T, we put the value of delta V. Delta V by delta T is centripetal acceleration AC. V by R as such, delta R by delta T is V. So we get AC is equal to V square by R. Now AC equal to V square by R, we put the value of V as omega R. So what we get? AC is equal to omega square R. Now relation between theta, nu, omega and t. So we have considered an point object having a uniform circular motion with frequency nu and time period t. So when the object completes one revolution, the angle traced at its axis of circular motion is 2 pi. That is when t is equal to capital T, theta equal to 2 pi. Now we know omega is equals to theta by t. So theta is 2 pi, t is capital T, so omega equal to 2 pi by t is equal to 2 pi nu because 1 by t is nu. Now this part is additional information for your knowledge and solving numericals in a shortcut method. So we know delta V is equal to V dash minus V. I told this earlier. And the magnitude of V dash and V is same. This is V, this is V dash. We have named points ABC. Delta theta is the angle. This was delta V. Now using triangle law, we can write delta V is equal to under root of V dash square plus V square plus 2V V dash cos of 180 minus delta theta. Okay, the angle between V dash and V is 180 minus of delta theta. This is the angle V dash and V. Okay, so 180 minus delta theta. So we can write delta V is equals to, as V dash and V are same in magnitude. Now cos 180 minus theta is minus of cos theta. So from this we get 2V square in bracket 1 minus cos delta theta, whole of the term is under root. Now 1 minus cos delta theta can be written as 2 sine square delta theta by 2, because 1 minus cos theta is 2 sine square theta by 2. From this what we get, delta V is equal to 2V sine delta theta by 2. Centripetal and centrifugal force. The first one is centripetal force. It is the force required to move a body uniformly in a circle. It acts along the radius and toward the center of the circle. The formula is mv square by r or m omega square r. Centrifugal force, it is a force that arises when a body is actually moving along the circular path. By virtue of the tendency of the body to regain its natural straight line path, it is regarded as the reaction of the centripetal force. So centrifugal force is also having the formula F equal to mv square by r, and it acts along the radius but away from the center of the circle. Let's give you an example. So when a piece of stone tied to one end of the string is rotated in a circle, then F1 is the centripetal force which is applied on stone by the hand. F2 is the centrifugal force which is applied on hand by the stone to regain its natural straight line path. Let's do a few examples. Question number 1, a stone tied to the end of a string 80 centimeter long is whirled in a horizontal circle with a constant speed. If the stone makes 14 revolutions in 25 seconds, what is the magnitude and direction of acceleration of the stone? Okay, so what is given to us? R is 0.8 meter, N is 14, T is 25 seconds. Okay, frequency is N by T. So that gives 14 by 25, that is 0.56 hertz. Angular velocity omega is 2 pi nu. We put the values, what we get, 3.52 radian per second. Then acceleration A equal to omega square r. We put the values, what we get, 9.9 meter per second square. Now the direction, it is along the radius at every point and it is towards the center. Question number 2, an aircraft executes a horizontal loop of radius 1 kilometer with a steady speed of 900 kilometer per hour. Compare its centripetal acceleration with the acceleration due to gravity. So what is given to us? R is 1000 meters, V is 250 meter per second. Now A equal to V square by R, we put the values, what we get, 62.5 meter per second square. Now A by G, if I find out, what I get, 6.38, or I can say A is equals to 6.4 times of G. This was the comparison. Question number 3, a stone of mass 0.3 kg tied to an end of a string is whirled around in a circle of radius 1 meter with a frequency of 40 rpm in a horizontal plane. What is the tension in the string? What is the maximum speed with which the stone can be whirled around if the string can withstand a tension of 200 Newton? So what is given? M is 0.3 kg, R is 1 meter, frequency is 2 by 3 rps, angular velocity omega equal to 2 pi nu. We put the values, what we get, 4.2 radian per second. Now tension T is equals to MA, because tension is a force, is equal to M omega square R. When we put the values, we get 5.25 Newton. For maximum velocity, tension is maximum, that is Tmax is equal to mv square upon R. We put the values, what we get, Vmax is equal to under root of 200 by 0.3, that is 25.8 meter per second. Question number 4. A cyclist is riding with a speed of 27 km per hour. As he approaches a circular turn of radius 80 meter, he applies brakes and reduces his speed at a constant rate of 0.5 meter per second, that is the acceleration part. Find the net acceleration of the cyclist. So what is given to us? The velocity we convert into meter per second, then r is 80, acceleration is minus of 0.5 because brakes were applied, so it's retardation. So centripetal acceleration A equal to v square by r. We put the values, what we get, 0.7 meter per second square, which is towards the center. Now suppose the cyclist applies brake at point P, as you can see, then the tangential acceleration will act opposite to the velocity. So this is your centripetal acceleration, this is the velocity, and when he applies the brake, then what will happen, that his tangential acceleration will act opposite to velocity. Now as we can see that they are perpendicular to each other, so the resultant is A, that is the net acceleration, which is equal to under root of AC square plus AT square. We put the values, and what we get, A is equals to 0.86 meter per second square. Now if theta is the angle between the total acceleration and the velocity of the cyclist, then we can say that tan theta is equal to AC by AT, that is 0.7 by 0.5, that gives tan theta is equal to 1.4, or theta is equals to 10 inverse of 1.4. Question number 5. The length of seconds pendulum of a clock is 1 centimeter. What is the change in the velocity of the tip in 15 seconds? Now angular velocity of the tip of seconds hand, omega is equal to 2 pi by 60, that is pi by 30 radian per second. Now linear velocity of the tip of second and v equal to omega r, that is pi by 30 centimeter per second. Let the initial position of the tip of the second's hand be at 12 in the watch, as you can see. So at this position, the direction of velocity of its tip will be directed towards the positive x-axis. Okay. Now, so initial velocity is equals to vi. After 15 seconds, the tip rotates 90 and the direction of velocity is towards negative y-axis, as you can see here. So in 15 seconds, the tip rotated 90 now the direction is negative y-axis. So final velocity is equals to minus of vj. So change in velocity is v final minus v initial, that is minus of vj minus of vi cap. So the magnitude will be equal to under root of v minus of v square plus minus of v square, that is under root of 2 into v. We put the value of v, so we get under root 2 into pi upon 30 centimeter per second. Now at both this position, whether it is at 12 or 15, the magnitude of linear velocity remains same. And also we can get the same result by just using the formula delta v is equal to 2v sine theta by 2. In place of v we put omega r, and theta we already know, so you can put and find out the same answer. So let us do a quick recap of all the things we have done. Angular displacement delta theta equal to delta L by R, angular velocity omega equal to d theta by dt, angular acceleration A alpha is equal to d omega by dt, relation between V and omega, V equal to omega R, A is equal to R alpha, centripetal acceleration A equal to V square by R or omega square R. Then this relation omega is equal to 2 pi by T or 2 pi nu. Centripetal force F equal to mv square by R or m omega square R. Now these are the questions. That is an assignment for you people. Do pause the video, try these questions and then play again to check the answers. Now let's solve the assignment. Question number 1, what is the value of angular speed of one revolution? So omega equal to 2 pi by T. A body is moving on a curved path with a constant speed. What is the nature of its acceleration? So tangential to the direction of motion because it is changing its direction continuously. What is the direction of centripetal force when particle is following a circular path? So the direction is always towards the center for centripetal force. Give an example of a body moving with uniform speed but having a variable velocity and acceleration which remains constant in magnitude but changes in direction. So the answer is a body moving in a circular path. A stone tied at the end of a string is whirled, okay, in a circle. If the string breaks, the stone flies away tangentially. Why? So the answer is when a stone is moving along a circular path, its velocity acts tangent to the circle. When the string breaks, the centripetal force will not act. So due to inertia, the stone continues to move along the tangent to the circular path and it flies off tangentially to the circular path. Question number 3, which is greater, the angular velocity of the R's hand of a watch or angular velocity of Earth on its axis? Good question. So omega is equal to 2 pi by T. For the R hand, it is 2 pi by 12, that is pi by 6. For Earth, it is 2 pi by 24, that is pi by 12. When we divide the two, what we get? 2, that is the angular velocity of R hand is twice of the angular velocity of Earth. So which one is greater? The R hand of a watch. The blades of an aeroplane propeller are rotating at the speed of 600 revolutions per minute. Calculates its angular velocity. So frequency is 600 rpm. We convert into rps, that is 10 rps. Now omega equal to 2 pi nu. We put the values and what we get? 62.8 rps. Question number 5, read the statement and state whether it is true or false. So the first case, the net acceleration of a particle in a circular motion is always along the radius of towards the center. This is false because it happens only in case of uniform circular motion. Okay, not in every circular motion. The velocity vector of a particle at a point is always along the tangent to the path of the particle at that point. This is true because at a point on circular path, the particle appears to move tangentially to the circular path. We use this concept in derivations. The acceleration vector of a particle in uniform circular motion averaged over one cycle is a null vector. This is again true because the direction of acceleration vector points toward the center, but it constantly changes with time. So the average is null. Question number 6, an insect trapped in a circular groove of radius 12 centimeter moves along the groove steadily and completes 7 revolutions in 100 seconds. What is the angular and linear speed of motion? What is the magnitude of net acceleration? So what is given to us? R is 12, N is 7, T is 100. Now frequency is N by T, that gives 0.07 Hertz. Now angular velocity omega equal to 2 pi nu, that gives 0.44 radian per second. Linear speed or velocity V equal to omega R, that gives 5.28 centimeter per second. Acceleration A equal to omega square R, and that gives 2.3 meter per second square. Now the bonus question for you. The speed of a particle of mass m moving in a circle of radius r is changing at a constant rate 80 meter per second square. Write the expression for the magnitude of its instantaneous resultant acceleration. Can we say that the direction of this instantaneous resultant acceleration would be along the instantaneous, that is radial acceleration? So this was the circle OP. This is centripetal acceleration. This is your other acceleration AT. Okay, this is the resultant. So instantaneous resultant acceleration A is equal to under root of AC square plus AT square, and it is not along the instantaneous radial acceleration, rather it is at certain angle. So acknowledgement, thank you Google, Bing, NCRT, everyone for things. Do watch other videos for better understanding. Thank you so much.